All right, guys, we're here. We're going to talk to Nia a little bit, get in her business a little bit, talk about hair, and I have some hard questions for her at the end. So, welcome to the show, Nia. Um, Tell us about yourself and kind of why you started creating. The podcast is now part of the Fanatics Creator Program. That means we earn from purchases through our link. I curated a dope storefront for you to shop through for new WNBA merch, NBA merch, NFL merch, doesn't matter. Head over to the link in our description to shop.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Nia. I'm an Atlanta-based creator. I started creating, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And this lady at my job influenced me to create. I was coming to work every week with different hairstyles, and she was going natural at the time and didn't know what to do with her hair. And she would ask me a lot of questions like, how did I do the style? What products did I use? And she would always tell me, like, you should start your own YouTube channel because a lot of people need to know this information. There's not a lot of information out there about it, and it would help a lot of people on their journey. And I think about a year after she kept badgering me about it, I was like, okay, why not? It was like the new year was coming in. I wanted to try something new. So I said, well, I'm just going to go all in and just see what happens. And when I started it, it was something to get used to, but it didn't take me long to get used to it. And I fell in love with it. And I've been creating since then.
What are a couple of things that you love about creating and a couple of things that you don't like at all?
Okay, so I like the creative process. I like to see things from start to finish. And I like to duplicate hairstyles or really like kind of put my own spin on it. So it's as if it's a challenge. So, once you finish, I'm like, oh, I accomplished a challenge. Creatively, I just like putting things together in ways that people naturally think about things, but they don't think about how they relate. And once you see the full creation of a video or something, you're like, oh, I didn't realize like those two were connected. I think about it all the time. I'm finding that more so now with the space I'm going towards with women's basketball versus what I was doing before. But I've always been a creative. I've always been into the arts. Like it could be anything, crocheting, dancing, anything that you creatively
Okay,
express
okay.
yourself with. I've always loved that. Now, what I, what I, some of the things I'm not gonna say I don't like. I don't care for it. Is the editing? It's so easy to pick up the camera
Same.
and
Same, same.
you know what I'm saying? It's so easy to get on there and talk and everything, but when it comes to the editing, that is very technical. And a lot of people don't realize like a lot of people they they see the content, they digest it, they love it, but they don't realize that creator could have took a full 24 hours to create something that ended up being 15 seconds. So it's really
Yeah.
technical, very tedious, and it can be frustrating because you can put a lot of time into a project and then you don't get the views. And anybody that's a human, at some point when you're consistent and you're not really seeing things take off the way you imagine they should, it could be a little frustrating if I'm being honest.
I agree. I agree. There's been things I took 2 seconds to do and it goes up. There's things I really, really worked on flat. And it's just like, I don't know anymore. I'm just going to do what I like.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. I give up.
It's so true. It's always the stuff that you do like last minute, really, it doesn't take long, like you said, and you put it up and you're like, this hit a million views, but that time is really precious. So you want to see the fruits of your labor. You know what I mean?
Okay. Was there a moment that you realized, okay, people are actually watching my things and paying attention to what I'm talking about? Like, what was that moment?
Yes, it was like the first couple of times I went viral. Um, because you start to get such a response from people as far as likes, comments, questions. You start to build relationships because people come into your DMs and they just start asking questions every day. Then eventually, I've built a lot of relationships with people through content creation. Um, So I think it was the moment I started building genuine relationships. Like when people would come to Atlanta for vacation, they'll hit me up on social media and they say, "Hey, I'll be in your city for like this many days. I would love to meet up with you and go out and do something fun together or just get a bite to eat." And that's when I realized like the power of content creation beyond just the views and all those things. I think the gem that a lot of people, once you get into it, start to appreciate is the relationships you build over time, because I've made some relationships with other creators or just people who love my content that I feel like even if I stopped creating today, I would still be in touch with those people. I've met their family members. So I think that's really like the biggest reward with content creation.
I agree. That's sometimes we can work by ourselves so much. So it's nice to link up with people who understand what you're doing. Because I mean, you might have family and friends, but if they're not into creating, they might not understand all that you do. So having people that you could talk to in real life about
Yeah,
that stuff is definitely important.
I agree. And sometimes it can help you iron out those frustrations too. Sorry.
True, right? Somewhere to vent, somewhere somebody else to look at your stuff and be like, you should try this, or even just to say, keep going, keep going. All right, so women's sports is growing really, really fast. So with that comes a lot of content. Do you think
Yeah.
there are any missing, like any gaps or opportunities people could try to jump in on?
I honestly believe there's a lot of gaps. I see a lot of people focus on the stats and the plays, and I feel like there's so many gems within the culture of the sport. I feel like some people are missing the culture because they're so tied into the sport itself. So, to give you an example, it would be me. I feel like the content that I'm bringing to the table fills in a gap that is just starting to be recognized and people have started to capitalize on, such as beauty. I don't feel like I really saw a lot of people talk about the beauty aspect of it, specifically hair, but I do look at it at a general perspective until like the past 2 years. Um, I feel like there were a lot of missed opportunities with brands that could have partnered with different WNBA players and capitalized off their routine, or because it's something. I'll give you an example. Rory, that plays for the Washington Mystics, people love her hair, and when I make posts about her hair, I get
Oh yeah,
so much
yep,
feedback. Like, what's her routine? What does she do? This is the moment where the hair brands can come in and capitalize off of it. The culture in regards to like what's a normal day look like for an athlete. I think Marina has capitalized on that with giving her vlogs and things, and I think that's why she gets such a great feedback, because that is the things that people want to see, because they want to be able to relate to the player in a different way other than just watching them dominate at the sport. So I do feel like there's a lot of gaps that could be covered culture wise, but I do feel like a lot of people are starting to step up to the plate. I enjoy the tech side of the way people talk about women's sports. I'm starting to see a lot of that develop. So I feel like people are filling in the gaps slowly but surely, but I definitely feel like the gaps are still there.
I agree. I think that's one of the reasons I do what I do. I like to know what you're wearing. I think lately I've been so into the tunnel fits. I haven't watched a whole lot of gameplay. Like it's on, but I'm doing something else. So it's like,
Yes.
oh, did you see such and such play last night? Kinda. I wasn't
Yeah,
paying attention. Like, I'm sorry. But yeah. You see them as a whole person, not just, the athlete part.
that's spot on.
You cover hair, beauty, and sports. How much do you think appearance factors into athletes' confidence and personal brand?
Mm. I would say about, I would give it 80%. Um, Now, I've always played like basketball in the neighborhood. I grew up doing that. So that's why it was so easy for me to hop into the sport and become a fan quickly once I got into it. But I noticed that players play a certain way when their hair is in a certain style. I know it may sound crazy, but I see it. So, for instance, I feel like Chelsea Gray, when she wears her Afro puff, it's a different Chelsea Gray, if that makes sense. When she gets her braids done and they're fresh, it's a level of confidence I can see in her, and I can also see a level of confidence in her with her when she wears like her regular Afro puff. Because now you're at your core, what you look like without anything added on. And I also think Olivia Miles is a great example of that. Um, and just let me think. Asia's white t-shirt. That's branding within itself. If Asia today
Yeah.
wanted to drop a
Yep.
line of white t-shirts, the sales are gonna skyrocket because everybody understands the mentality she steps into. When you see her in a tunnel fit with that white t-shirt on, it signifies something. So I would say about 80%, in my opinion, it contributes to their brand. Also, of course, their skill, their level of talent. That right there is what puts the eyes on you. But once the eyes are on you, people are looking at you, they're looking at you in layers. So depending on how you present yourself, those layers can
Hmm.
be digested in a way people identify with you more. They feel like they can relate to you more, and they really just start to fall in love with who you are as a person as well as a player.
Agree. I think Skylar and her messy bun is another good one. I know, especially during
Yes,
Arrival. When you see Skylar with that messy bun,
you knew what
watch
time it
out.
was.
Watch out. Yep. If it's neat
For
and slick
sure.
back, you might have a chance.
Maybe.
But
Yes,
if
yes.
it's a messy bun, she's hitting that game winner on you.
So true.
If an athlete came to you tomorrow and said, I want my hair to be part of my brand, where would you tell them to start?
I would say start with a signature style. So I think everyone should have a signature style, no matter who you are, male, female, it doesn't matter how you identify anything. You should have a signature style because when you're in a rush or when you want to feel very comfortable, where if you have a signature style, it's something you can always result back to and feel 100% comfortable in your skin. You 100% know what the outcome will be at the end. Because let's be honest, trying different hairstyles, you're really taking a chance. Sometimes you don't know how long it'll last. Sometimes you don't know if the person that's doing your hair is going to do it the way that you like it. You know how people make the joke about like what I asked for versus what I left with, like that whole mentality. You can get into that and you can say, well, I don't know, is she gonna be able to do it? And then you leave. I mean, I've seen women cry like bawling of tears if their hair didn't turn out the way they wanted it. And that really can affect your confidence. So I think when
Yep.
it comes to branding, if you have a signature style, people will always know, they'll always associate that with you. And once you have something people can associate with you, you can build off of that. So let me think of an example. I'm trying to think of a really, really good one. I'm just gonna go with Asia. Last
Juju,
year
when
when
she
they
had the
went on
bun.
that winning streak, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but by the third game, I noticed she wore her hair in a bun that entire time. So that could be a signature style when it's time for me to really get in the mud, get gritty. That may be the style that she's comfortable with because it's predictable. And you want that level of predictability when you're dealing with outside things that are unpredictable. At least you can be comfortable in one, in one arena of who you are. So I think if you were to start building a brand around yourself and it was related to hair, start off with the signature hairstyle that people can always associate with you.
That's good. I think I've been there. Got a bad haircut, hated it for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Hats, everything. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want anybody else to see it. So
right.
yeah, it happens.
So true. So true.
Okay. You get to sign 3 players to a hair deal tomorrow. Who do you pick and why?
Ooh, I picked Dejanay. I'll start off with Dejanay because Dejanay is making a staple with her hair color. For so long, we identify her with the blonde, and now you're starting to see her step into different colors, different styles. The styles look different with a different color. So she's always creating like another version of herself. And color is the one thing in the hair community that everybody is a little cautious about because of the upkeep with color. So the fact that she's using lace fronts or tape ins or a sewing, whatever method she's using, the thing is she's showing you you can be versatile with your hair color without damaging your hair. So I would build something around that concept because that's already how people identify with her. I know her recent color was black hair. So everybody's like, oh, look at black hair Dejanay. So that's off the rip, people identify her with her hair naturally.
Yeah.
So that's why I would choose Dejanay. I would choose Olivia Miles because
Okay.
I feel like she's a prime example of the importance of a signature style. Her signature style is either the fro or the sleek puff, and I feel like her game is so elite that kind of can you can draw a connection there with how I know I'm going into the game with this hairstyle. I feel comfortable in it. I've consistently done this throughout my career, looking this way, like this is me, this is who I am. And just the confidence she showed coming to the draft, on draft day with those two styles. And I even kind of got some backdrop on the stylist that did her hair and how she's the only player that came and had an outfit change and hairstyle change. She's the only player that came to the draft
Okay.
like that. And even though it may seem simple, like that's what I'm saying, her hairstyle is such signature. A lot of people probably didn't even notice that because I personally didn't notice it until I started reading the backdrop on it. Like, oh, she was the only one. Yes, AZ, I give AZ did amazing with, switching up her outfit and everything. However, I didn't realize like Olivia did it twice, hair in fit. So,
And outfit. Yep.
if I was to add a third person, ooh, ooh, this is kind of hard. This is a really hard question. This is really hard. I did color, I did natural, so I'm trying to look to go into a different pocket to diversify the portfolio here. Um, probably would be it would probably be Stephanie, Big Mama. Um, because
Dawson.
Big Mama, yes, Big Mama fits are always like unique. And I feel like her hair always plays a role into her fit. So at least I know here recently it has. And her skunk stripe is just so unique. I don't think people really pay attention to that aspect of it, but like Big Mama brings a lot to the table as far as style is concerned, and that's from fit to hair, like the whole ensemble. It's just a certain way that she presents herself, and I feel like trying different stuff with her would be fun.
I love that. That's a solid list. I love that you brought Steph in. When I was right, making the questions, I was like, I think she's gonna say this, this, and this. Definitely didn't think Big Mama, but yeah, I get it. I like your reasoning. So yeah, that's dope.
Thank you. These are some really good questions too, like really good
Okay,
questions.
thank you. All right, you have to rank Asia's last three media day looks. We had the pink, the silver, and the red.
I'll have to go with pink hair Asia first. Um, I'll go with silver hair Asia second, and then I'll go with red hair Asia third.
I think I would do the same. That pink, I love the pink. It was a time.
It was such a movement with the pink last season. When you have fans showing up, they give you your MVP award and everybody's wearing a pink wig. I just think that was a staple, and for her to be the first WNBA player to win a championship in her first signature sneaker, and it was pink, like it just all connects on so many levels. And I actually have
All
some
connected.
content that I've written up centered around this. I don't want to go into it too much because I'll give out like hints of the content. But what I will say is the hair always tells the story before it happens. That's what I noticed with the colors she chose each year. And I feel like this hair story this year is going to be the most interesting. It hasn't, everything's been kind of kosher so far. But with what I know about the color red and the significance of it and what like personality traits and things that it's centered around, I feel like this season is going to be very interesting. You can already start to see some of the challenges the Aces are facing. So I definitely think this year's hair story is going to be an interesting story. But I think last year with the pink, it was just like a monumental story because everything just was in alignment. And two, now I know
What
we're
have I
talking about
seen?
Asia, but Jackie's leopard, I think that's another one I'll touch on. But that one told a story, and you can kind of see the story already playing out with how she decided to do her hair for media day. And I don't know. I would love to hear like the players' take on this stuff. Um, Speaking it into existence, maybe one day I'll be able to ask them about how they go about choosing
Yeah,
their
yeah.
looks. But I wonder if they ever see the correlation like I see the correlation, because I really do see the game through a hair lens. As crazy as it sounds, like if I'm watching a new team or some new players I've never seen on a court before, if their hair stands out, I'm going to watch that player for a full quarter to really get the vibe for 'em.
The leopard was a moment. I was like, oh, look at Jackie. You know, she's the silent killer. So I think that was loud with her still being able to be her normal self, the silent killer.
And I too can identify with the players when it comes to the hair, and I'm gonna tell you why. And see, this is all a part of my content plan, so this is like a prequel to what my series will be for this season.
Okay.
But when I got into the workforce, I worked in a field where you had to wear uniforms. And so this is how I started to play around with different hairstyles because I realized quickly the uniform kind of puts you in the bucket with everybody else that has on a uniform. So the only way I feel I was able to stand out was by trying different hairstyles, trying different colors, and it allowed me to learn myself, learn my hair, and it also allowed me to stand out amongst everybody else. And not that it was intentional, it was just something where I was like, well, I'm putting on the same uniform every day. I have more time to do my hair. I don't have to think about an outfit. I don't have to put things together. I don't really have to steam it a certain way, steam versus iron, all the things. So I was like, I have more time to do my hair. And it really did, it sparks conversation with people. So I was able to build relationships off of that concept of just stepping out of my comfort zone because I've always been the type to have a signature hairstyle. But now, depending on the week, you don't know what you're going to get.
For this next part, we're gonna do blind ranking. I'm gonna say a word or a phrase, and you're gonna put it in spot 1 through 5. One would be what you like the most. 5 would be the least.
Okay.
All right. Tunnel fits,
2,
signature shoes,
4,
hairstyles,
1,
social media presence,
3. Oh, what is 5?
and media day.
Oh, I would have ranked that higher, but it gets the 5.
Okay.
Oh man,
Okay.
that's a really good. That's fun actually to do.
That was right.
Yes.
We got two more things. The next one
Okay.
is I'm gonna say a few names and just give me one sentence about their hair.
Okay. Okay. I hope I know everybody. I should, but let's see.
You do. You do.
Okay. Okay.
Angel Reese.
Hmm. Angel Reese, like. when I think of Angel Reese, I think of like classy hairstyles that are versatile, where she can play 1 minute and be at the Met Gala the next.
Dejanay Carrington.
Hair color out of this world, hair color versatility queen. And how do I extension? She's like an extensions specialist. Like I've never seen her hair just not be up to par. Like it always looks seamless.
Cameron Brink.
Ooh, when I think about Cameron Brink, I think about versatility of blonde and just a naturalness. I feel like she wears. I feel like Cameron's blonde highlights are key to her look. It just brings out her facial features a lot, her fits, and she's not afraid to try different things with it.
And our last one is Skylar.
Oof. Scholar is natural. How would I describe herself? Hmm. I would say a naturalista at its finest. I've never seen Skylar without her natural hair. And when she does wear it, whether it's a messy bun, a blowout, a wash and go, like it's superb every time.
And now this is what I think is the hardest question on the show, and people tell me this. Your top five best dressed WNBA players of
Ooh,
all time.
all time. Ooh, that makes it more difficult. So, ooh, let me think. So a couple old and a couple new. Um, so I do have to preface this with I really started watching the WNBA about 3 years ago. So the older players I'm not too familiar with. Like the ones that are no
That's
longer
fine.
playing. Um, but the first person I thought of was Lisa Leslie. I just feel like she's chic. She always has a nice business look, and she's playful with it as well. Um, of course, I have to put Angel Reese in there because Angel Reese is just with she's in a class of her own, literally. She's always wearing something exclusive. It's on the edge or it's classy or it's something different. I feel like she has a really good diversity. Like her style is diverse, and I don't. It's not a lot of people who can pull off different fits that's very diverse and it looks right every single time. Um, so we got Lisa, we got Angel. I'm also putting Asia in there because
Okay.
Asia knows how like Asia can be chill with it, or she can go all out with it, or she can be somewhere in between. And I really feel like Asia speaks to millennials when it comes to the all white forces, or
Yes.
it might be the simplest thing that she puts on, and you like, dang, like, that was a staple in our childhood or our adolescence. So I connect with her on different levels as I've matured over the years. That's what I like about Asia's style. Let's see, so Asia, Angel, Lisa. Gotta put I have to put Scholar in there because Scholar never misses. Never
Okay.
misses. And I feel like she dares to be different. And I feel like you have to have a certain level of confidence to wear the unique fits that she wears and pull it off every single time. And while wearing your natural hair. Because within our community, I don't know, I say it's like a 50-50, but like if you see somebody go do a major event or something, more than likely they're going to add extensions or they'll wear a wig to complement the
Yeah.
actual fit. But it's like scholars like no matter what the fit is, I'm wearing my natural hair. So I really, yeah, she's up there for me. And if I had to choose one more person, ooh, hmm, this really is the hardest question because you want to just think about who comes to the top of your mind. I haven't seen enough of her tonal fit. She's a rookie, so I'm gonna wait on her. Ooh, Stewie, hands down, Stewie. I feel
Okay.
like
Okay.
Stewie is just. I like people who are like different, like to wear like eclectic stuff. Like they keep you on your toes, they keep you guessing. And I feel like Stewie does a great job at that. And I just feel like every time she puts stuff together, it may be different, but when you look at it, you're like, like that really does flow, and that's really like unique to her. It may not be something you feel like you would be able to pull off, but when you can say that about a person, like, oh, they probably could pull off anything, I think that speaks volumes to their level of confidence when it comes to how they dress.
Her moving to New York, it elevated her. Seattle, but when she got to New York, phew,
I can see that now that you say, because New York is like the fashion capital, and it's like she's back at her roots. I can see that, but oh
yeah,
my goodness, the coat she wear, the hats, like I feel like Stewie does a really good job at capitalizing off of accessories, and it can be the smallest detail that'll speak volumes to the fit. That's good to know.
okay, that's a good list. That is a good list. Yeah,
Here, can I ask, like, what are yours?
mine. Okay, so we got Enrique, um, hands down, love Enrique. Diamond the Shields was one of mine. Um, who else I have? Because I used to have all of them behind me. Sue Bird,
Okay.
an older player is Cappy Pondexter, and then I also had Shatori Walker Kimbrough, sleeper.
Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, I like your
And
list.
my sixth pick would be Asia, specifically her jersey dress era, because that's when I started taking notice. Because I am a UConn fan. Listen,
Okay.
Gino was wrong. I'll say that. So I didn't really know about Asia, but that year, listen,
Yeah.
that year she started wearing them jersey dresses. I was like, who is this? I like that, and now that made me start paying attention to her game. I was like, oh, she is a
Oh,
hooper. Then she won
yes.
MVP, and I was like, oh, I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Nice. See that's like going back to I remember when we wore the jersey dresses. Like you have to be bold to bring out an old like an old trend and
Style.
wear it with
Yep,
confidence.
yep.
Like so ooh, that's next level. I like that list now. You named two people I'm gonna look up when we're finished because I want to see it now. Like, okay.
Which two?
Poindexter was one and Kimbrough. I feel like I've looked at Kimbrough and I've said something to the extent like, dang, not enough people are talking. But if you would have asked me like name a fit she wore,
Mm,
I wouldn't be able to tell you. That's why I'm like, I need to go back and revisit this.
okay, okay. Yeah. She's chill. Like I don't if you really are looking at outfits, you'll see, right? Because she's a quiet person overall. But you like,
Hmm.
oh wait, she plays with silhouettes a lot, and I like that.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, and I had the opportunity to interview her in real life. And she
Hmm.
kind of shared like, yeah, she likes to play with silhouettes. She doesn't have a stylist. She just does it. So yeah.
That's even more impressive.
Okay, so that's all the questions I have. If you want to tell the people where they can follow you or what you have coming up, the floor is yours.
Okay. You guys can follow me on all platforms. That'll be TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Threads. Nia the Naturalista. Um, More so after All Star, you'll start to see a lot of content, a lot of visual video contents for me. I'm really active WNBA wise on Threads because the WNBA community at Threads is just amazing. But I'm going to branch out and start to incorporate it more into my content on Instagram, YouTube, as well as TikTok. I have a series called Beauty and Basketball. Right now, we're on episode 8. So every episode, I'll just come and talk about something that I've taken notice to or something that a lot of people talk about. And I may create like a series within that, like a part one, part two, part three. So after All Star, we are going to kick off certain days that I do this. And I'm really looking forward to sharing my thoughts with the community as well as hearing their thoughts and just having a good time discussing the things that we're all looking at, but we may just not be talking about. If you're looking for hair tutorials for natural hair, protective styles, anything of that nature, definitely check me out. I've worked with brands such as Pattern, Aunt Jackie's, Camille Rose, Colored Wow. Like I'm definitely connected with the hair brands, and I've done a lot of partnerships, so I can give you all the deets on what you should use, what you shouldn't use, what's best for this situation, because I think it can be very confusing when you see how many products are out here and you just don't know where to start or which way to go. I'm definitely your person. Hop in my DM for that. And I'll be trying out some new brands such as Sacred. I've tried Cardi B's line, so I definitely want to share my thoughts on that. And that's all I have. And I really wanted to take the time to thank you. I really enjoyed myself. You may not know, but this is the push I needed to really get out there and really do get out my head and put out the things that I've been thinking of this past year or so, and really just push the pedal to the metal and get started. So I really appreciate what you've built. I appreciate your perspective. I love seeing your energy on threads. I'm loving the hit or miss that you started, and I just wanted to give you a shout out as well and thank you for your time.
Thanks, thanks. I'm glad we could connect. Y'all follow Nia, follow the podcast page, subscribe, and enjoy the content. Leave some comments, hit a like, hit a share, like interact with us.